Okay, hey guys. Today I wanted to do a video about activation of the glutes and doing some glute exercises and hamstring exercises as well. Before your glute day, it's really important to warm up, and the most important things to stretch or warm up would be your quads actually. So I do a lot of quad and hip flexor stretches, and I foam roll my quads because the quad's job is to flex the hip and the glute's job is to extend the hip. If your quads and hip flexors are tight, your glutes can't extend your hip and you're not going to get the activation that you want. So after I'm done getting my quads and the hip flexors all loosened up, I'm going to come in the gym and start with my favorite activation exercise. It's a banded lateral squat walk. So you're going to put a nice thick band right on top of your knees. Step out wide and squat, a little quarter squat, step in. So I'm really getting the top of the glute and the sides of the glute. You want to step out with the whole side of the foot. Make sure your toes aren't pointed out. All right, that's a great warm up to start our glute day. All right, so on any leg day, you want to have a combination of a heavier big compound lift that involves multiple joints, and then some other isolation exercises that isolate the particular muscle you're working on. One of my compound exercises today is going to be a sumo leg press. My feet are going to be set high and wide on the platform to emphasize the inner thigh, hamstring, and glutes. I'm going to use a nice slow tempo, get a good stretch when I'm coming down, and then not let my legs rest at all during this set. All right, feet are nice and high and wide. Something I'm going to focus on as I'm coming down is keeping my knees open. Come down till you get that nice stretch. Push. Never lock your knees out at top. Keep your muscles under tension and working the whole time. All right, so my other compound exercise I'm going to be doing today is two versions of a Romanian deadlift. It's a superset. So the first set, I'm going to have 10 reps with my feet wider than shoulder width, toes pointed out. And then I'm going to go right into feet hip width, toes pointed forward, and continue. Same thing with any of the other exercises, nice slow tempo, big stretch, big squeeze. And here we go. My hips go back until I feel that nice big stretch, come up and squeeze. Try to avoid lifting the head to look in the mirror. You want to keep your spine neutral. Focus on the top of the hamstring and the glutes doing the work. Gonna bring my feet in, facing forward. Slide the bar down my knees, feel that stretch, come up and squeeze. I'm also not just letting my gut hang out, keeping my abs nice and tight throughout the whole set, so I can work on building a nice tiny waist. When you're doing these, you want to choose a weight that you can hold on to for 20 reps. All right. All right, so we talked about doing compound exercises and isolation work on our leg days. This is one of my favorite isolated glute exercises, but I see people doing it wrong a lot of the time, and they can't really feel it in their glutes, they feel it more in their lower back. So I'm going to explain a little bit about the cable kickback for the upper glute. So the way I like to do this is to lean a little bit on the bar in front of me. My non-working leg is going to stay bent. I'm not going to lock it out. From here, my back is nice and flat, my abs are tight. I'm going to bring this back and extend the hip, because remember, the glutes extend the hip. Everything else is staying completely still. I'm isolating the glute and squeezing. So a lot of times I see a lot of this, which is involving a lot of that lower back. You want to keep the lower back out of it. I'm going to switch legs real quick. So standing leg is supporting the other leg. Kick back and squeeze. You want to use a lighter weight for this exercise. Higher reps, 15 to 25 is a good place to start. And that's a great exercise for the upper glutes. All right, so the last exercise I'm going to show you today is the hyperextension. This exercise, a lot of people think about the lower back doing all the work here, but it's actually great for hamstring and glute development. You want the pad to be somewhere in your hip crease. I like mine just a little bit lower. Your ankles are going to be pressed against the pads at your feet. Now here, the principles that I was talking about earlier, slow tempo, big squeeze. So I'm going to slowly drop down. And I'm going to round my back and squeeze my glutes to come up. To make this exercise harder, you could hold a plate at your chest. You could also put a band around down here and hold on to a band. Just really concentrate on that big stretch, big squeeze. And remember to get up slowly, let the blood come back, and you get a head rush.